in number 10 today, we have Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian. On April 11, 2018, photos of Tristan Thompson would start to circulate online where it would show him cheating on his then 9-month pregnant girlfriend, Khloe Kardashian. And just like that, we all guessed things would make a turn for the worse. TMZ would then post a video from October 2017 that showed Tristan kissing 2 other women at a club. Despite all the cheating rumors, Tristan was with Khloe for the birth of their child, as seen on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The two would then remain a couple and would end up fully getting back together. However, in February 2019, Tristan truly wasn't to give up his ways, as reports would start to surface again that Khloe Kardashian and Tristan had split because he had cheated on her, and this time with a close friend of the family, Kylie Jenner's bestest friend and roommate, Jordyn Woods. When anonymous party attendees told TMZ that Tristan and Jordyn were spotted throughout the night being all over each other and making out, Jordyn's actions would become the ultimate betrayal to the family. Tristan and Khloe, however, would reconcile again, but they would appear to break up for good not so long after a paternity scandal involving Tristan and another woman broke. This would happen around the same time Tristan and Khloe were expecting another child together as well. Number 9, Cardi B and Offset. After 3 years of marriage, Cardi B would file for a divorce from Offset after rumors started to circulate that he had cheated on her. While Cardi would make the decision to call off the divorce and get back together with Offset, this cheating scandal would definitely ruin Hollywood, and the cheating rumors haven't exactly gone away. It all started when Tekashi's 6ix9ine girlfriend shared a flirty DM that Offset had sent her on Instagram. Cardi would then reveal that Offset's Instagram got hacked when the DM was sent, and it wasn't really from him. In her Vogue interview, Cardi confirmed Offset cheated on her, and she would say, "When me and my husband got into our issues, you know, he cheated and everything, and I decided to stay with him and work together with him. A lot of people were so mad at me. A lot of women felt disappointed in me. While it seems like trolls don't want to see Cardi and Offset end up together, there still continues to be cheating rumors surrounding the couple." With the latest rumor claiming that Offset had cheated on Cardi with Saweetie, Cardi has been forced to clap back by saying, "No baby, you lying. You're making crazy lies," and stating it and putting female rappers in it with no receipts. No blog ever spoke on this, and all of a sudden you come out of jail 5 days ago and you made up a lie in 2 hours with no receipts. And honestly, I just think everybody just needs to leave Cardi and Offset alone already. Hey my little peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Beyonce and Jay-Z. When Beyonce released her much anticipated album Lemonade, she put a spotlight onto her marriage with Jay-Z, and since there has been so much speculation about who Becky with the good hair is, that it's even become a major meme. While the duo was pretty quiet about whether Lemonade was based on their marriage, it wasn't until 2017 that we would know that it was the truth when Jay-Z released his album 444, which was full of apologies to Beyonce and to their daughter Blue. He would also open up in an interview with David Letterman about how his infidelities nearly destroyed their marriage and how he has done work to repair their union. Jay-Z would say, "Much like you, I have a beautiful wife who was understanding and who knew that I'm not the worst of what I've done, and who did the work of going to therapy, and really, we love each other. We put in the work." While Jay-Z has recently continued to grow into the proud father and husband he is today, it's been pretty outstanding to see. Number 7, Kevin Hart and Anuka Parrish. The story of Kevin Hart's infidelity is confusing at best. When he first denied the cheating scandal in July of 2017, he would then post a video on his Instagram apologizing with the caption, "Sending so many apologies to my wife and kids. I gotta do better, and I will. I'm not perfect, and I have never claimed to be. I love you all." It would later also be revealed that Hart was at the center of an alleged extortion attempt, as someone allegedly was in possession of a video that showed Kevin engaging with another woman that wasn't his wife, and they were trying to expose Kevin in an attempt so they could receive some money. It wouldn't be until Kevin had an interview with The Breakfast Club where he would finally admit to his cheating. When Hart finally decided to speak about the scandal that happened on a 2020 podcast, he would go on to say when Anuka Parrish found out about the situation, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park for the comedian, but when she finally came to the conclusion of it, Hart would say, "I like the fact we have a family, that we have a household, and I like the fact we now got a job to do better. That's what you owe me. You owe me to get better." Number 6. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Though the Smiths themselves wouldn't call it a scandal, the rest of the world would be shocked when August Alsina spoke about a relationship he had with Jada Pinkett Smith during an interview in June 2020. August would say, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really deeply love and have a ton of love for her." He would then go on to claim that Will knew about the relationship and gave August and Jada his blessing. Naturally, people were shocked that the Smiths are one of the longest lasting and famous Hollywood couples in recent history. First, the couple issued a quick statement denying the relationship, but then Jada would announce on her Twitter that she was taking herself to the red table. In July of 2020, the Smiths would sit down at the red table to discuss their relationship, and they would speak about a dark period of their marriage when they thought they were going to separate and never speak again. That's when Jada and August started their relationship. While Will did deny giving August permission, he did know that the two were seeing each other. When August and Jada's relationship finally came to an end, Will and her decided to try to work things out. However, to this day, it seems like Jada tries everything she can to humiliate Will, and I just don't support it.
Halfway through our list is Jessica Alba. She ended up falling in love with a man named Cash Warren, who was once just admiring her from the sidelines, working as a crew member on one of her movies. Back in 2004, he was hired to work as a production assistant on the movie she was filming, and like many people, he was a fan of her work, and probably her looks, because she is a babe. Because they were able to work on set together every day, they got to talking and began dating. Fast forward to 4 years later, the two of them got married in Beverly Hills in May of 2008. The happy couple now have 3 children together, and their marriage is going strong. Or so that is what we know anyways. You can actually get more behind the scenes look on their life on TikTok if you have it, because Jessica loves making videos with her kids, and it's honestly the cutest thing ever. In spot number 4 is Gwyneth Paltrow. Before she even met Chris Martin, he said he was making jokes to his friends about dating her. He was a big fan of hers and made the typical fan comments about, "One day I'm gonna marry them. I once thought I was gonna marry Nick Jonas, so like, I'm just trying to manifest that, you know, like all these people did somehow." But maybe his comments were actually a way of manifesting the future. Because one day, Gwyneth attended a Coldplay show and his assistant asked her to come backstage, and then they were finally introduced. She was also a fan of his, obviously, for going to one of his shows, so they kind of had that mutual understanding and they hit it off. They started dating and eventually got married, and now they share 2 children together. But sadly, they are just co-parenting right now because they got divorced in 2014 after 10 years of marriage. However, they remain very close friends. She posted on Instagram like the sweetest birthday message for him. Alright guys, in the 3rd spot is Kevin Jonas. Now his wife Danielle Jonas was once just working as a hairdresser in the real world. She happened to meet Kevin while vacationing in the Bahamas back in 2007. Apparently, Kevin saw her and approached her on the beach, and they got to chatting and exchanged numbers. Kevin talked about it with glamour and said, "You know how you're supposed to meet somebody and call like 2 or 3 days later? Well, I cyber-stalked her after we met and cyber-stalked to see what flight she was going to be on coming home. And then I called her the minute she landed. That might be a little bit overboard, but I just went for it." Just a little overboard. Let me check your flight details, stranger. It must have worked though, because they got married in 2009 and they now have 2 little girls together. People fell in love with them because they started to share their relationship on their own reality show called Married to Jonas. I did watch part of it. It was actually really cute. Taking over the number 2 spot is Lisa Bonet. For anyone that has followed her relationship with Jason Momoa, they would know how obsessed he is with her. During an interview, he once said, "If someone says something is impossible, I'm like, listen here, I married Lisa Bonet." That's so cute! That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. He never thought it would be possible when he was just fan crazed by her as her character Denise on The Cosby Show. He said he was 8 years old when he first saw her on TV and that he told his mom that he wanted to marry her. His dreams did come true, and the two of them met at a jazz club in 2005, and they started dating and had their first child in 2007. In 2008, they welcomed their second child together, and soon became a family of 5, including Lisa's daughter Zoe Kravitz. After a decade of being together, reports were made that they finally got married in 2017 after 12 years together. I know that sounds crazy, but Jason says they have always been married in heart, and that the wedding basically was just a gathering of family and friends. Earning the #1 place is John Travolta. His wife Kelly Preston tragically passed away recently, so I thought that it'd be nice to share this adorable love story. When his movie Grease first came out way back when, Kelly said that she saw the movie in theaters and then pointed to a poster on the theater wall and said, "I'm gonna marry that man." Well, she was right. Within the first year of dating, he surprised everyone by proposing to her in 1991 on New Year's Eve. They got pregnant not long after, and she was 2 months pregnant when they had their wedding in September of that same year. It wasn't until 2000 when they welcomed their second child. They had a massive heartbreak though in 2009 when their first son Jet passed away after having a seizure and hitting his head on the bathtub at just 16 years old. 2 years after his passing, they welcomed another baby boy into their family, and Travolta said they have been stronger as a family ever since. They actually just celebrated their 28th wedding anniversary in September 2019, and sadly, Kelly passed away recently on July 12th, 2020. Starting off our list at #10 is Demi Lovato and Joe Jonas. The pair met on the set of Camp Rock where their characters sang and fell in love, so naturally, so did they. Demi openly admits to having a crush on Joe throughout their entire filming process, so she was nothing but thrilled when they got together as a real-life couple. In her 2017 documentary called Simply Complicated, Demi revealed that their first kiss was actually on camera and that the relationship only lasted a month or 2. We didn't really expect more than that. They were kids. But Joe opened up about the relationship and spoke more seriously on it, saying that Demi struggled with a drug addiction when they were dating, even though she was very young. He confessed that he only stayed with her because he felt like he had to help her. He said, I quote, "I really got to know her and got to see the ins and outs of what she was struggling with, like drug abuse. I felt like I needed to take care of her, but at the same time I was living a lie because I wasn't happy but felt like I had to stay in it for her." Joe and Demi both admit that their love was young and short-lived, but they still have a lot of love for each other as friends. At #9 is Thomas Doherty and Dove Cameron, who fell in love on the set of a more modern Disney movie, Descendants 2. Disney fans watched their real-life relationship go from 0 to 100 in the matter of a couple months right in front of their eyes. Fans started speculating on the relationship long before they confirmed it on February 16th, 2017. The news didn't really surprise anyone. They have been dating ever since and don't try to hide their love for each other in any way. Just look at their Instagrams. During an interview with Access Hollywood, Dove was asked if she'd ever work with Thomas again, and she said it didn't matter because he is the love of her life and she's his partner in real life, which is what matters. Currently they are being called the cutest Disney couple there is, and yes, at the time of this recording, they are still together. Up next at #8 is Bella Thorne and Gregg Sulkin. These two Disney Channel stars have had an on and off relationship throughout the years, and it all started on a Disney set. They met on the set when they both appeared on the 3rd season of Wizards of Waverly Place. They admit to having sparks for each other, you know, that young puppy love, but they didn't date until they were a little bit older. After falling in love while filming, Bella went on to star on her own show Shake It Up, and Gregg was cast on Marvel's Runaways. They officially started dating in May 2015 and were together for over a year. They were totally couple goals, which is why fans were shocked when they announced that they decided to call it quits. They announced a joint statement to E! News saying, "After much thought and soul searching, we have made the difficult decision to end our relationship. We will always love each other and have a deep respect for one another, as we have each grown to be better people because of our time together." Bella later revealed that there was no animosity between them and tweeted out, "Things just didn't end up working the way we had hoped, but I'll always love the bub." They got cozy again for a short period in 2017, but it wasn't anything serious, they fooled us, and they just continued on as friends. Coming in at #7 is Cole Sprouse and Alyson Stoner. I gotta be honest here, I didn't even know they dated. That's probably because they were only like 11 years old when they started dating on the set of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. They met while filming and dated throughout the series. Alyson revealed on a podcast that her first crush and first boyfriend ever was Cole. They were young throughout the relationship, so their immature breakup isn't all that surprising. Guess how they ended? Through text. Cole sent her a text that simply read, "It's not going to work out." Worst part is, he sent the breakup text on her birthday. Real maturical. I mean, because they were so young, this is all just kind of adorable to me. Rumors went around that they had another short fling when they were older, but it just didn't seem to work out for them as a couple. She could always try for his twin brother Dylan. Swiping the number 6 spot is Hilary Duff and Aaron Carter. What an iconic duo at the time. We loved watching Hilary practically grow up on her hit Disney Channel series Lizzie McGuire, but one of our favorite moments from the show was when Aaron Carter did a cameo on the show, which just so happens to be where the two of them fell in love. How could we ever forget the episode where they kissed under a mistletoe? My 13-year-old self was dying inside. Actually, my 26-year-old self still is. The kiss soon led to the two of them dating in real life. They were together for over a year and a half before calling it quits. So, who was to blame for the heartbreaking split? Aaron. He left Hilary for Lindsay Lohan. I am spilling that tea for y'all right now. But these are cold hard facts, you guys. During an interview with Us Weekly back in 2014, Aaron spoke on it. He said, I quote, I started dating Hilary on my 13th birthday. I was dating her for like a year and a half and then I just got a little bored, so I went and I started getting to know Lindsay, dating Lindsay. Meanwhile, Hilary has very much moved on and is now happily married with 2 children. Throughout the years though, Aaron has made comments saying that he will never give up on Hilary and calls her the love of his life. He kept posting these weird and creepy tweets where he declared his love for her. She publicly announced that his comments were making her uncomfortable. So it looks like she will always just be the one that got away. That's what you get for picking Lindsay Lohan. Halfway through our list, at number 5 is Conan O'Brien. The late night talk show host loves telling the story of how he and his wife met, gushing over the fact that she was once just one of his fans. He met Liza Powell when she was just one of his audience members back in 2000 at the taping of his show. He says that he saw her in the audience and instantly fell in love with her, so maybe love at first sight does exist. He tells the story saying that she caught his eye because she was so beautiful. During an interview with Piers Morgan, he said, somewhere in the vault of NBC, there's footage of me literally falling for my wife on camera. Not long after meeting each other on set that day did they start to date, and then they later got married in 2002. They're still married to this day and have 2 kids together. Making our way into number 4, we have Steve Harvey. He also loves telling the story about how he met his wife Marjorie, and it's honestly one of the cutest things I've ever heard. The two of them have been going strong for over a decade, and he says he knew she was the one from the first moment he laid eyes on her. He tells the story like this. It was in the comedy club one night. She came in late, sitting on the front row with her girlfriend. I stopped my show as soon as I saw her. The first words I said to Marjorie was, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to marry you one day. And he was right. They actually dated for a year and a half first, and then they broke up and went on to marry other people. They reconnected 15 years later, and they've been together ever since. That is 2 people who were meant to be. Right person, wrong time, left, came back. Oh, so cute. Taking over the number 3 spot is Jerry Seinfeld. His wife Jessica was just a fan when they locked eyes on each other at a crowded gym back in 1998. It was just a couple of months after the Seinfeld finale aired, and Jerry was one of the most famous television stars in the world. Jerry says it took him some time to get the courage to go up and talk to her, but when he did, he opened the conversation with a joke, which is not surprising. But there was a lot of controversy in the relationship at first when they first started dating, because Jessica had married her first husband just 2 months before she met Jerry. So a lot of people took it as her having an affair, but Jessica said that she had already begun the breakup process before she even met Jerry, calling her first marriage irreparably broken. But even though the timing was not great for the two of them, they fell in love very quickly and got married in December of 1999, and they've been together ever since. We are here at number 2, and we have Nicolas Cage. Who would have thought a night of wine and dining could bring a celebrity to meet his future wife? One of his many fans, Alice Kim, was working at a restaurant in LA back in 2004 when the actor just so happened to eat there the night that she was working. Now, normally they have rules, especially in LA at restaurants, that you cannot ask celebrities for photos and autographs while you are on the clock. But Alice ignored the rules and went up to him and asked for an autograph. It seems to have been a moment of love at first sight because they started hitting it off immediately and began dating not long after meeting. Things moved very quickly and they got married just 2 months after meeting each other. Sadly though, this one does not have a happy ending. They were married for 12 years and had a child together, but in 2016, they got divorced. Rumors spread claiming that Alice actually cheated on him and that she ended the marriage unexpectedly. Okay, this one started cute and then went back. Coming into our number 1 spot, we have the cutest story ever. I think I've said that 900 times, but we have Matt Damon. In a recent interview where he spoke about his wife, Luciana, he said, "I got lucky. I fell in love with a civilian." And if you don't know their story, that is what happened. Luciana was bartending in Miami back in 2003 when the actor asked her to help him. He was in Miami at the time filming Stuck on You, and a couple of guys who were part of the crew decided to grab a beer one night in the middle of a shoot, and he tagged along with them. But he started getting swarmed by fans, which is no surprise at all, so he asked Luciana for help, and she offered for him to come behind the bar and duck down so he could hide. And that is exactly what he did. That is all it took for them to hit it off and continue talking after that. They started dating not long after and got married just 2 years later in 2005. They lived happily ever after, and they are now a family of 6. I love love stories. I just love love. Starting off the list, number 10 is Mariah Carey. During an interview, Nick Cannon admitted that he grew up admiring Mariah Carey's music and her looks, along with like every guy out there probably. He said he was a huge fan of hers, so it felt like a dream when they started dating and eventually got married. Nick says she was always his dream girl, and he felt like he won the lottery when they finally got together. They got married in 2008, and after having twins, they sadly got separated in 2014 and officially divorced in 2016. They are still connected as devoted parents to their 9-year-olds, but Nick says that no one will ever compare with Mariah. In a recent interview in June, like a recent June 2020, he said, "I mean, it's Mariah Carey. How am I supposed to be? She's one of the most talented women to ever walk this planet. I can't hold a candle to that woman." Coming in next, number 9 is Harry Styles. There's probably a lot of girls out there who got excited to hear that he fell in love with one of his fans, thinking that they could be next. You might be. You never know. A girl named Tess Ward was first introduced to his boy band, One Direction, through a mutual friend. Of course, like most young girls at the time, she was a fan of their music. In 2017, paparazzi pictures captured him hanging out with a girl that no one really knew, and she was actually spotted wearing one of his t-shirts, which caused fans to go absolutely nuts. She started receiving a ton of nasty messages online from a bunch of other girls, and they ended up splitting up after just a few months. Tess spoke about it with the Times and said, "I'm not the kind of person who's interested in fame, and you're put in an environment which you don't understand and you can't control and you don't want it. It's horrible." Not long after their split though, I got some tea, Tess went back to her ex-boyfriend. So. Rolling into number 8 is Tom Cruise. Turns out that Katie Holmes was once telling her Dawson's Creek castmates how big of a crush she had on the actor, even admitting that she had a poster of him on her wall. So it's safe to say that she was a fangirl. Even if she had her own acting career, you can still be a fangirl. Back in 2004, she told 17 magazine she used to think she was gonna marry Tom Cruise, and just 1 year after that interview, they started dating and her dreams finally came true. They started dating in 2005 and got engaged within weeks, and introduced their little girl Suri into the world in 2006. They move fast. Sadly, his passion and involvement with Scientology put a wedge between them, and they got divorced in 2012. But I think it's still a really cool love story. Like, imagine having a poster of Tom Cruise on your wall and then you marry him. Oh, that's crazy. Up next, number 7 is Camila Mendes. This one is kind of an exception because Camila said they knew each other before he was a fan of her. So it's a little like twisty, not sure if it counts. She dated a guy outside of Hollywood named Victor Houston who went to a neighboring high school as her in Florida back in the day. But when her career took off, he couldn't deny that he was a fan of her talent and work, obviously. He went off to college when they graduated and landed a career in the finance industry. It wasn't until the two of them met up in New York City years down the road when they reconnected and started a relationship. They dated for a little while, but then Camila called it quits unexpectedly, saying that she just wasn't ready to be in a relationship. Despite her being the one to end the relationship, Riverdale fans still went after him like it was his fault. Moving on to number 6, we have Jake T. Austin. This one is a crazy story that will pretty much convince you that you could date your celebrity crush too. You might know him as Selena Gomez's younger brother on the show Wizards of Waverly Place. The young actor started dating a super fan or as some people would call it, like a stalker. Like she was obsessed. Her name is Danielle Caesar, and she openly admitted that she stalked him on Twitter for 6 years before getting his attention. She started her obsession back in 2009 with tweets saying she wanted to meet him so bad, and oh my god, will Jake T. Austin marry me? You know, all that stuff. She ended up meeting him at a 2011 autograph signing, and after posting the picture with him to Instagram, he followed her back on Twitter. Her dreams came true. The two of them got to talking and officially started dating back then, and they are still together to this day.
At number 5, we have Liam Payne. Now, Liam Payne landed himself into hot water after his fiancée, Maya Henry, discovered that Liam had cheated on her after an Instagram fan account posted a picture of Liam with Aliana Mala. The images that were originally shared to Aliana's Instagram story included one photo of Liam wrapping his hands around Aliana's back. In a series of photos that would show the two holding hands, Maya would then comment on the photo to say, "I love all the fans so much, but please stop sending me these pictures of my fiance wrapped around another woman. This is not me, and it's hard enough knowing that this happened without seeing it." Now, Liam didn't take too kindly for being outed for being unfaithful, nor being referred to Maya as her fiance, and his agent would then later say that Maya's comments referring to Liam as her fiance are untrue and misleading. At number 4, we have Tristan Thompson. So since Khloe and Tristan started dating back in 2016, the couple has been consistently on and off. However, in the beginning of the year, Tristan would propose to Khloe, and the two would be secretly engaged for 9 months, and they even revealed that they were going to have a second child. Now, around this time, Marley Nichols would come out to say that she was also pregnant with Tristan's child, and that he had to take full responsibility for his actions. At first, Tristan did what he always tries to do, and he tried to deny the rumors, but after a paternity test proved that he was the father, the NBA player would then come out to say, "Today the paternity test results revealed that I am the father of Marley Nichols' child," and he went to acknowledge that he hurt Khloe, who he was still dating at the time when his newborn was conceived. At number 3, we have Randall Emmett. Now, Randall Emmett became majorly burned after getting caught cheating by his fiancée, Lala Kent, earlier this year. When the Vanderpump Rules star wiped her Instagram clean of Emmett back in early October, many fans started to speculate something was seriously wrong. Emmett would then be accused of cheating on Lala with a couple of girls while he was in Nashville. Emmett was able to get away with cheating on Lala for so long because he was using burner Instagram accounts, and he had a burner phone that he would use to text other girls on. Now, Randall hasn't come out to confirm the allegations, but he has said he'll never talk ill about Lala because she is the mother of his 1-year-old child. At number 2, we have Matthew Rondeau. Now, Shauna Moakler posted some pretty cryptic messages about Matthew Rondeau following their breakup. The post that she would post on her Instagram story would fuel rumors that Matthew cheated on her with multiple women. Shauna would write, "Stop stressing over a guy who can't be yours because he wants to be with everyone." Now, their breakup would come as somewhat of a surprise to fans, as Shauna has been gushing about how supportive Matthew has been with helping her create new content. Matthew would then in a deleted Instagram story come out to say that he would never speak to Shauna ever again, and he also claimed that she had been seeing other people while they were still together. And at number 1 today, we have Travis Scott. So last week, Instagram model Rojan Carr shared on her private story a video of Travis on set of a shoot. This video would start speculation that the two have met up. Now, Travis would come out to say that a lot of weird things were happening and going on, and that an uninvited person showed up on his set, and that fans needed to stop telling fictional stories. Now, Rojan would then come out to say that everyone is aware that he and her have been seeing each other, and in recent times they have been together, and that he cheats on Kylie every single night. The model then went on to note that she was even with Travis on Valentine's Day, and when she ran out, Travis had every girl blowing up her phone to get her to come back. Sources claim that Kylie is so sick of hearing about Travis cheating accusations, and she loves him, but she's sick of his commitment issues. At number 10, we have Patrick Carney. After 3 years, Michelle Branch and Patrick Carney called it quits, and Michelle Branch was then arrested over a domestic dispute with her husband, who she accused of being unfaithful. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office confirmed that Michelle was taken into custody and then released on a $1,000 bond. The singer Cheryl will then be due back to court on November 7th. Just before the incident occurred, Michelle had tweeted and deleted a note 2 hours earlier claiming that the Black Keys drummer had cheated on her while she was at home caring for her 6-month-old baby. Michelle would then later address that she and Patrick were splitting, and she would also say that she was devastated and that a rug was completely pulled out from underneath her, and now she had to figure out how she could move forward. At number 9, we have Matthew Lawrence. In late August, Cheryl took to TikTok to share a video of herself and accused her ex of cheating on her. Cheryl went on to say that the guy she was seeing would never talk to his mistress again, but then she found text messages and a necklace hidden in a pair of his shoes. Cheryl then went on to write across a video in which she would suggest that Matthew had been unfaithful during their marriage. The Dancing with the Star pro would then caption the clip with the feature of Adele singing "The Last Time" from her song "When We Were Young." Cheryl would then write, "This is the last time and it's absolutely right, goodbye forever." Now Cheryl was definitely going through the blues now that her divorce was finalized, so she never did call out the cheater by name, but considering that she's never been with anybody else after the couple split, it's clear that Matthew cheated. Hey Peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all the gossip to come. At number 8, we have Ne-Yo. Ne-Yo and estranged wife Crystal Renee filed for divorce, and it's alleged that Ne-Yo recently fathered a child amid cheating allegations. In August, Crystal filed paperwork and argued that she was entitled to a divorce from Ne-Yo under the grounds that their marriage is broken with no hope for fixing it, and that she knows that Ne-Yo committed the act of adultery. Crystal then went on to claim that Ne-Yo had fathered a child with his mistress. The model then alleged in a really emotional Instagram post that she endured 8 years of unknowingly sharing the musician with numerous women and that she was completely heartbroken by it. Now Ne-Yo never came out to address the cheating rumors, however he did say that he will never talk bad upon Crystal as she is the mother of his child and he'll always choose to respect her because she's a fantastic woman. At number 7, we have Sam Hunt. Now it's never a good idea to cheat on your spouse, however we can argue that sometimes there are certain times worse than others, and Sam Hunt cheating on his wife just months before she was due to give her first child, it's one of those times. In papers his wife filed back in May, Hannah cited that Sam was found guilty of inappropriate marital conduct and adultery. TMZ would also report that within her filing, Hannah also checked a box reading that the husband is guilty of such cruel and inhumane treatment or conduct towards the spouse as renders cohabitation unsafe or improper. Now, the divorce papers were filed just a few months before she was due for having her child and the couple's 5-year wedding anniversary. Hannah is now looking to receive child support, alimony, and primary custody of the couple's child. At number 6, we have Angelina Pivarnick. Jersey Shore star Angelina Pivarnick had a secret affair for 2 years behind her husband Chris's back. Insiders have said that Angelina has been dating New Jersey native Joseph Tarallo throughout much of her marriage to Chris before he filed for divorce back in January. Joe and Angelina started seeing each other back in 2020 and immediately started to spend more time together. Apparently she was barely going home and it caused a lot of trouble for her and Chris's relationship. When Chris learned about the relationship, he immediately moved out of the house just before the holiday season, and then he would give her another chance. However, she continued to see Joe and it caused Chris to file for a divorce. At number 5, we have Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. The Twilight movies are some of the biggest successful films of our time, and while the book was better than the movie, it did steal our hearts. And at the center of the media frenzy, you would find Robert and Kristen making headlines as the two co-stars began a relationship during filming, and fans were completely obsessed. However, all of this would change after the paparazzi released pictures of Kristen and Rupert Saunders, who was the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, engaging in some major PDA, and everyone had some major opinions about it. Kristen would eventually publicly apologize to Robert, and then the two reconciled for a time, but then eventually broke up. Later, Kristen would recall her relationship with Robert and would describe it as being young and stupid. While Kristen and Robert could share their love off screen like Bella and Edward, we all knew her relationship was doomed to come to an end at some point because, let's face it, she really should have chosen Jacob. And I'm gonna stand by that statement. Number 4, Nick Young and Iggy Azalea. Now, it all began with a prank war that would be exposed when Nick Young had cheated on Iggy Azalea. When the LA Lakers were involved in a prank war, a video that was recorded by fellow player D'Angelo Russell, the video would eventually be leaked to the public, and it would show Nick Young apparently admitting to cheating on rapper Iggy Azalea. Later, Nick would try to claim that it was all false, and he somehow was able to convince Iggy it was all just one giant rumor, and she ended up continuing on with their relationship. However, it wouldn't be long until Iggy would suddenly tweet that she had dumped Nick because she caught him on a security camera bringing girls into their home. To add more insult to the injury, news would soon start to circulate that Nick was expecting a baby with his ex-girlfriend, Kiona Green, and the baby was definitely conceived while he was still in a relationship with Iggy. Out of all the lows that could have happened, it's kind of funny that Nick thought that he could bring girls into the house and Iggy wouldn't catch him when she watched the surveillance footage. Number 3, Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth's long-term relationship was a rift filled with cheating rumors. While Liam was accused of straying away multiple times while they were still engaged, news would start to surface that he even got with January Jones while the two were still together. The two would then end up calling things off, but then they would get back together a couple years later, and then they would even find themselves getting married. While the marriage only lasted less than a year, at some point, everyone started to accuse Miley of cheating. Just after a week of the two's devastating breakup, Miley would be forced to address the rumors of her almost 8-month marriage, as well as some of the most scandalous episodes from her past. While Miley has been pretty open and transparent with her fans, she couldn't believe people were accusing her of infidelity. The same day the news broke of their split. On the other hand though, Miley was spotted kissing Caitlyn Carter in Italy. Despite all the rumors about her unfaithfulness, Miley would come out to say the truth is, once Liam and I reconciled, I meant it and I was committed. I can admit to a lot of things, but I refuse to admit that my marriage ended because of cheating. Liam and I have been together for a decade. I've said it before and it remains true. I love Liam and always will. Number 2, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. As adorable as they look together, I don't think any of us truly believe Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner were ever meant to be together, as his heart has always belonged to J-Lo. While Ben definitely benefited from Jennifer as a grounding force in his life, they did go on to have 3 amazing kids together, but it's clear that Ben wasn't ready to ever settle down in their relationship, as it was reported that he had cheated on her with the nanny. While Jennifer would say she didn't find out about the affair before the formal couple made the decision to get a divorce, the alleged incident was said to happen before they even came to the final decision that their relationship was over. Later in a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer would confirm that Ben did have an affair with the nanny, as she said, "Let me just tell you something. We had been separated for months before I even heard about the nanny. She had nothing to do with our decision to divorce. She was not a part of the equation." And she elaborated on how she had to deal with it, and she said it wasn't great for her kids to have a nanny disappear from their lives, and that she had to have many conversations with her children about the meaning of the scandal. Still, at the end of the day, Jennifer would open up about how there was no need to attack Ben, as people have pain and they do regrettable things and they feel shame, and shame equals pain. And coming in number 1 today, we have Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were once a dream couple, and I honestly wish they would get back together because Brad made a huge mistake leaving her for Angelina Jolie. However, even with them being a dream couple, they proved that Disney fairy tales can't come true, as their romance came to a screeching halt when they decided to get divorced in 2005. For years, Brad and Angelina would deny the cheating rumors, and it would come out just after the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith that Brad had fallen in love with Jolie. However, karma had different plans for Brad and Angelina, as their relationship ended up being quite ill-fated as well. In 2020, Brad would finally admit to cheating on Jennifer when he sat down for an interview and apologized to Jennifer by saying, "It grieves me that it was interpreted this way. Jennifer is incredibly giving, loving, and hilarious woman who remains my friend. It is an important relationship I value greatly. The point I was trying to make is not that Jen was dull, but I was becoming dull to myself, and I am responsible for. I, for one, am still a huge shipper of Brad and Jennifer, and if we can see Ben and J-Lo get back together, then maybe we'll just find these two finding themselves back together soon."
Beginning our list at number 10 is Justin Bieber. If you don't know his rise to fame, he got famous at a very young age after he was discovered on YouTube by Usher. He moved from a small town home in Stratford, Ontario to Atlanta, Georgia to work alongside him. He and his family actually attended a church out there, and that is where he met a fan named Caitlin Beatles. Even though they were just kids at the time, they started dating, and that was his first real girlfriend apparently. They dated from 2008 to 2009 but broke up because his touring schedule just got too busy, and let's face it, they were just kids. Rumor has it though that his song Never Let Go was written about her. Don't get excited over the news that he dated a fan. He is now a married man, but he once did say that he would date his fans. During the interview, he once said that he would date a fan and even admitted to sliding into some of their DMs. That would be crazy. And Hailey Bieber came in and just swooped him up. Well, Haley Baldwin. Moving on to number 9, we have Reese Witherspoon. She fell so madly in love with one of her fans that she is now married to him and has kids with him. Cutest story ever. The two of them began dating in 2010 and got engaged not long after that. They were already married just 1 year later in 2011 and then welcomed their first son the same year. So things moved quickly for them. So how did they meet? Turns out he was the co-lead of creative artist agency Motion Picture Department, so there were times when their company would promote her work. Obviously, he knew who she was and he adored her work, but they actually met for the first time at a house party. Reese says a drunk guy was hitting on her and then started yelling and slurring his words, and Jim walked up and pulled that guy away because it was actually his friend. When asked about their dynamic, her being a celebrity and he not, she says that she loves it and that it actually allowed them to get to know each other better in a more private way. Coming in hot at number 8 is Joe Jonas. I'm sure fans have wondered if any of the Jonas brothers would date their fans. Well, Joe did, and he was very open about it. He has been open and honest in the past about hooking up with fans and going on dates with some of them. During an interview with Us Weekly, he said, "When we started with my brothers, we would do these videos and we'd get these video girls for the videos. And it was like, oh my God, hot girls for the first time in front of us. I've gone on dates with them before." Let's also not forget when he was with Camila Bell. She was modeling and acting back at that time in September 2008 when they met on the set for the Jonas Brothers Love Bug music video. They ended up dating for a little while afterwards, probably some like classic puppy love stuff. And she even admitted that she of course was a fan of them at the time, because who wasn't? I also thought I was gonna marry Nick Jonas and that went down the drain. So in spot number 7, we have Anne Hathaway. She is another celebrity who fell so in love with a fan that she went on to marry him and start a family with him. The Princess Diaries actress met her Prince Charming back in 2008, but he wasn't the Hollywood royalty that some would expect her to be with. Adam Schulman was a jewelry designer at the time and was a fan of her work like most of us. So he was just admiring her from afar until they were once introduced to each other by a mutual friend at the Palm Springs Film Festival. He is the first person to admit that he was gushing over the actress before he even met her, but she was gushing just as hard about him. During an interview, she said that the day she met him, she told her friend, "I'm going to marry that man," and she did. After meeting at the festival, they started dating and later got married in 2012. They welcomed their first baby in March 2016. Their love for each other and their family has continued to grow ever since. Rolling into number 6 is Patrick Dempsey. He and his wife Jillian Fink had to be soulmates because their story is almost too good to be true. It's like they were meant to meet that day and fall in love. Back in 1994, Jillian was working as a hairstylist and makeup artist, and she found out that Patrick had scheduled a hair appointment at her salon for a quick trim. She said she was shocked at first and thrilled because she was a fan and he was so cute. Her words, not mine, but I also agree. After 3 years of haircuts, he finally asked her out after finding out that she had become single. And just 3 months after their first date, the couple moved in together. They got married in 1999 and have been married ever since, welcoming 3 beautiful frickin' children into this world. They did have some rough patches along the way though. Jillian filed for divorce in 2015. However, they pushed through and she dismissed the divorce papers in 2016, and they said that they started with a clean slate and they have never been better. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Bridget Mendler and Shane Harper. They were each other's co-stars for years on the Disney show Good Luck Charlie. They openly admit that when they started to film the show together, they really didn't hit it off. They don't have a reason why, they just blame it on the fact that they were 16 when they met and they just didn't click. But 2 years later, their group of friends started to merge, and Bridget says that he was very persistent when wanting to go out with her, so she agreed to it. After that, the two of them continued to work together and also went on to date for over 4 years. They seemed as happy as they could be, which is why people were surprised when they ended in 2017. Rumors were going around for a few months speculating if they were over or not, but then Bridget confirmed it when she told the humor mill, "I'm single, so I guess that means I'm undateable." Here we are at number 4 with Victoria Justice and Cole Sprouse. Apparently Cole got around throughout his time on Disney, but this was just another case of puppy love. The two of them met on the set of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, where Victoria was a guest on one of the episodes. Remember the episode where Cody accidentally enters a beauty pageant after following a girl named Rebecca into the dressing room? And during their pageant time, he became best friends with her, and then he drops out for her so that she can win. There is no way you forget this hilarious and adorable adorable episode. Well, Rebecca was actually played by Victoria Justice, and when Cody let her win, she thanked him by giving him a little smooch on the lips. During the filming of this episode, the two of them started to date in real life, as kids of course, and just so you know, this was actually before Cole moved on to Alyson Stoner. During an interview for Popstar, she talked about their on-screen kiss, saying it wasn't only their first kiss together, but it was her first kiss ever, and apparently it was filmed in front of a live audience, so it made it that much more uncomfortable. But she also said that even though the relationship didn't last long, they remained friends afterwards. Alright guys, at number 3 is Bradley Stephen Perry and Sabrina Carpenter. Bradley is mostly known for his role on Good Luck Charlie, and she's known for her role on Girl Meets World. They started dating in 2015, and the only reason we found out was because the way he asked her blew up online. He wrote her this adorable note in a bottle. So creative and so cute. All seemed well with the young couple, who technically fell in love for being on the set of a Disney Channel interview. We are giving them this honorable mention because they are so cute together. But they didn't work on a show together, but when working with Disney, you're often doing other projects and media stuff together in the same proximity. So I decided I'm gonna let them on this list. Sadly, their relationship only lasted a short period of time. Neither of them revealed what the exact reasoning was for their split, but it's been said that Sabrina's song Smoke and Fire was inspired by the relationship. So she is pulling a Taylor Swift, writing a song about her ex. She's pretty clever for a 19-year-old, I gotta say. In spot number 2 is Miley Cyrus and Nick Jonas. I had mixed emotions when I found out that they were dating. On one hand, I was like super excited because I was shipping them hard for so long, but on the other hand, I was convinced that I was going to marry Nick Jonas, so I was jealous. The two of them met on the set of Miley's show Hannah Montana, where apparently they fell in love on the first day of filming. It was back in 2006 when they met, and Nick's older brother Kevin said, I quote, "When he met Miley, I think that kid's head exploded." Apparently they started to date the first day that they met. They did not waste any time. They dated for a year, which brought drama because Selena Gomez also liked Nick at the time. It wasn't a nasty breakup though, and later in 2009 rumors were flying that they might be rekindling their relationship. I was so excited. But unfortunately, it was all just rumors. They remained friends throughout the years, but I'm pretty sure 90% of us Disney fans are still hoping that they will end up together somehow, even though he's married. But she just got separated, so like, you never know. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron, because how could they not? They were our high school sweetheart inspiration. They met in 2005 on the set of the first High School Musical movie, where they fell in love and continued to date throughout the 3-movie series. Their characters Troy Bolton and Gabriella Montez fell in love in the movie, so it wasn't all that surprising when they locked it down off camera. They were going strong for a while, and we thought it would be a true Disney love story, but the two of them split in 2010 after dating for 5 years. No reason was ever confirmed until later in 2015 when Vanessa opened up about her relationship with Zac during an interview with the New York Times. She said that the relationship ended up making her really mean and would cause her to lash out. She admitted that Zac wasn't the issue, but it was the crazy obsessed girl fan base that he had. I was one of them. She said, I went through a phase when I was really mean because I was so fed up. Girls were running after him and I was giving them death stares. Then I realized that's not what that's about. Spread the love, be a good person. They support you, be nice. There's no doubt that during that time they were very much in love, and to this day they both have very positive things to say about one another. Disney has a way of making people fall in love, but then ending on good terms.